Okay. Veda. You can repeat. Knows. Avinashinam. Indestructible. Nityam. Always existing. Ya. One. One who. Enam. This soul. Ajam. Unborn. Avyayam. Immutable. Katam. How. Sa. That. Purusha. Person. Partha. O Partha, Arjuna. Come. Whom. Ghatayati. Causes to hurt. Hanti. Kills. Come. Whom. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O Partha, how can a person who knows that the soul is indestructible, eternal, unborn and immutable kill anyone or cause anyone to kill? Purport. Everything has its proper utility, and a man who is situated in complete knowledge knows how and where to apply a thing for its proper utility. Similarly, violence also has its utility, and how to apply violence rests with the person in knowledge. Although the justice of the peace towards capital punishment to a person condemned for murder, the justice of the peace cannot be blamed, because he orders violence to another person according to the codes of justice. In Manu Samhita, the law book for mankind, it is supported that a murderer should be condemned to death so that in his next life he will not have to suffer for great sin he has committed. Therefore, the king's punishment of hanging a murderer is actually beneficial. Similarly, when Krishna orders fighting, it must be concluded that violence is for supreme justice, and thus Arjuna should follow the instruction, knowing well that such violence committed in the act of fighting for Krishna is not violence at all, because at any rate the man, or rather the soul, cannot be killed. So for the administration of justice, so-called violence is permitted. A surgical operation is not meant to kill the patient, but to cure him. Therefore, the fighting to be executed by Arjuna at the instruction of Krishna is with full knowledge. So there is no possibility of sinful reaction. So the context of these shlokas is Krishna started explaining Atma Jnana from 2.11. 2.11, 12 and 13, Krishna spoke preliminary knowledge about soul. Dehi nosmin yata dehe kaumaram yavanam jara tata dehantara praptir dhiras tatrana muhyati. That is the first shloka introducing soul, 2.13. And then immediately after that, 2.14, Krishna gave an instruction to tolerate the bodily pains. Okay? Even though we are not the body, but we are the soul. But when we are dealing with people, and when there is any harm done to the bodies of the people, we get hurt. It causes pain to us. So in 2.14, Krishna asked us to tolerate these temporary bodily pains. And 2.15, Krishna gave the result of tolerating. What is the result of tolerating? One becomes eligible for liberation. Yamhinam vyatayantyete purusham purusharshava samadukka sukham dhiram somrutatvaya kalpate. 2.15. So Krishna said, whoever practices liberation, they are eligible for, whoever practices tolerance, they are eligible for liberation. And we discussed about how great sannyasis, they sacrifice everything, they tolerate everything. Okay? Sannyasis and brahmacharis, they tolerate everything. There's a great austerity and sacrifice done by them. They are eligible for liberation. So even while being in the Gruhastha ashrama, we can still practice that kind of tolerance and we become eligible for liberation. We don't have to leave the Gruhastha ashrama. We can still be in the family, we can still continue doing whatever work that we are doing as software engineer or whatever. And we can learn to practice those qualities tolerance, humility, and so on. Then we become eligible for liberation. Then 2.16 and 17, again Krishna started continuing the knowledge of the soul. So Krishna gives various attributes or characteristics of the soul. Okay? So in 2.16 and 17, Krishna gives the size of the soul. Okay? So what is the size of the soul? 1/10,000th of a tip of the hair. Okay? Keshagra shatabhagasya shatada kalpitasya cha. In Mundaka Upanishad, the size of the soul is mentioned. So you take the tip of the hair, cut into 100 pieces, and you take each individual piece and cut into 100 pieces again. That is the size of the soul. Now, okay, it is mentioned in Mundaka Upanishad. Size of the soul, saying that 1/10,000th size of the tip of the hair. Now, can we take that literally? Can we take that as a literal measurement of the soul? No. It may not be literally, the size of the soul may not be literally 1/10,000th the size of the tip of the hair. In Mundaka Upanishad, it is mentioned that Keshagra Shatabhagasya Shatada Kalpidasya cha, just to give us an idea that how minute or how minuscule the size of the soul is. It doesn't mean it is exactly 1/10,000th the tip of the hair. Okay? The idea is to understand that soul is so minuscule. It cannot be measured with any apparatus, any device, any scientific instrument in this sophisticated material world. Okay? And what is the location of the soul? In the middle of the heart. In the middle of the heart. That means you have two hearts?
Right side of the sternum.
Right side of the sternum. Okay. Now she's a doctor. That's why she's talking. And now Aparna will also talk some medical language.
Soul is in virtual form, right?
Huh?
Soul is virtual form, right? We have to see with the Divya.
Yeah, for us it is virtual. But it is, in reality, it is physically present. Soul is physically present. It is real. It is not virtual. It is not virtual reality. It is reality.
I read recently I watched a video about Vedas.
Yeah.
In Vedas, it has been said that it is situated right side of the sternum.
Okay. So some say that it is situated in the heart. So then what happens when the heart transplantation is done? Huh? So when heart transplantation is done, does the soul go from one person to another person? No. So, so the soul basically, the location of the soul is basically in the heart region. In the heart region. It can be on the left side, right side, top or bottom, and center, somewhere near the heart.
It's all pervading.
It's all pervading. The energy is pervading. Okay? So the energy is pervaded throughout the body in the form of consciousness. Just like how, there is a light here, right? The light is situated there, but the light is pervaded throughout this room. Our sun is situated up in the sky, but the energy of the sun, the light that comes from the sun, is pervaded the entire universe. Okay, just like that, the soul, even though it's very minuscule, very tiny, situated in the heart region, and it's virtual, we cannot see, but still, the energy of the soul is pervaded throughout the body, and that is consciousness. Okay?
We should rather say virtual, we should say subtle, right?
Huh?
We should rather say virtual, we should say subtle.
Subtle, yeah. No, I was saying virtual because Annapurna said virtual.
We cannot able to realize it's like a divya drishti, then only we can able to see that consciousness.
Yeah, with our eyes, with any instrument in this material world, we cannot see soul. Yeah. But with Jnana Chakshu, we can see that. Yeah. So, Atma Jnana is one, and Atma Sakshatkara is another one. Atma Jnana is theoretical knowledge, saying that I am not this body, I am the soul. That is theory. And Atma Sakshatkar is to be able to see the soul, to be able to see Paramatma and Jivatma, both. So, in the heart region, there is Jivatma and Paramatma also. Like two birds sitting on the same branch of a tree, the Jivatma and Paramatma, soul and super soul, are always sitting next to each other. The super soul is always watching. What is the super soul watching? Super soul is watching what we are watching. Super soul is watching our Netflix history, our YouTube history. What are the other tons of things that we are watching? Super soul is watching. Okay? Now, when you all go there, then the super soul will open the list. This is your browsing history. This is your browsing history. Okay.
I have a question. So when we die, like the soul departs from the body, right?
Yeah.
So how about the super soul? Does the super soul like is attached to the soul, or where does the super soul go? Like after our death.
So when the soul transmigrates from one body to another body, super soul also accompanies. Super soul also accompanies. And in fact, it's very wonderful thing to learn that. See, when the person dies, then only the subtle body goes along with the soul. What does the subtle body consist of? Mind, intelligence, and false ego. Three things. Okay. So the mind is a repository of all the things that the soul, that the Jivatma has seen and has done in the current life or in the previous lifetimes. Okay. Now, when the soul transmigrates from one body to another body, this subtle body, which has mind, also goes along with the soul. Now the soul has to get a new life, new body in the next life, right? The body will be according to the desires that the soul has acquired in the current life. That means you are preparing your body in the next life while living in the current life. Whatever you are thinking, whatever you are desiring, based on that, your next life will be decided to fulfill those desires. To fulfill those desires, a suitable body will be given. And who reminds us about those desires? It is the super soul. See, now super soul, Paramatma, none other than Krishna, he can very well cover our knowledge of the desires. He doesn't have to remember, he doesn't have to remind us of the desires. He can just take us to spiritual world, right? But he doesn't do that. He reminds us of all the desires that we have accumulated in the current life. See how merciful Krishna is. He's not taking all us forcibly to the spiritual world. Rather, he is reminding us, hey, you have this desire. You have a desire to buy a home in Medina. You have a desire to buy a Lucid motor car. So, because these days everybody has Tesla. So next thing is Lucid, right? So Krishna reminds, the super soul reminds us of all the desires that we have accumulated in the current life. See how merciful. It's a beautiful thing, it's a very subtle but very beautiful thing. So Krishna accompanies, the super soul accompanies, along with the soul, super soul accompanies. Okay.
In mind,
Now,
Prabhuji, mind, you are saying mind is like when the
desire will be confirmed. That we were watching so many things by mind, by seeing by eyes, is watching the mind.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that we have a desire. When it comes to a desire, like how we can understand like this is our desire, because everything cannot be our desire, right?
So whenever you see any object, the mind takes a snapshot and puts in the repository. So mind is like the hard disk, repository of whatever you see. Okay, there are so many snapshots, and when the mind starts contemplating on those objects, it will lead to a desire. That's why in the same chapter 2, in the later shlokas, Krishna tells how to control the mind and how to control this desire actually.
So Prabhuji, intelligence will be how intelligence will play a role. If the mind, first for the mind, then the intelligence.
Yeah.
So how it will, intelligence will help us to come out of that desire?
Yes. So without proper intelligence, you're right. Without proper intelligence, mind is the one that is driving the senses. So we have to cultivate knowledge and feed the intelligence so that you can discriminate between good and bad, and you can reject the unwanted things. Otherwise, the mind will start contemplating on those objects and it will lead to a desire. And the desire will transform into lust. Lust will transform into anger or anger or greed. Okay. So that's why it is best to stop contemplating on the objects in the very beginning. So Krishna will tell in the later shlokas, Dhyayate Vishaya Pumsan Sangasteshu Pajayate Sanga Sanjayate Kama Krodho Vijayate. Dhyayate Vishayan Pumsa. Vishaya means sense objects. Okay? Dhyayate means meditating, contemplating. So stop contemplating on the sense objects. Okay? So for example, you go to a shopping mall. You just buy whatever you need and come back. Don't look at 10 other things and then start contemplating. Okay, so when should I buy this? Okay, so then you will end up buying even if you don't need it. Okay, because the contemplation will lead to a desire. Desire will lead to lust or anger. Okay. Okay, now in this shloka 2.21, Krishna is saying, how can a person who knows that the soul is indestructible, eternal, unborn and immutable kill anyone or cause anyone to kill? Krishna is saying that the soul is eternal, indestructible, unborn and immutable. 4 characteristics here. Okay? Indestructible, eternal, unborn and immutable. In the later shlokas, Krishna will give so many other characteristics and attributes of the soul. So Krishna is saying that one who knows that the soul is eternal, what's the question of killing? Where is the question of killing? Arjuna is thinking that he is going to be the cause of the death of his relatives. But Krishna is refuting that argument, saying that they're all the souls. They're not bodies. They're all the souls. So you're actually not killing them. You cannot kill them. You cannot kill them. And Krishna is also saying, how can anyone who is in knowledge of this soul cause anyone to kill? In chapter 1, if you are able to recollect from chapter 1, Arjuna asked Krishna, "Oh Krishna, you are Janardana." Janardana means the protector of the people when they are in need. Okay, the protector of the people when they are in need. Jana, Ardana. Okay, Ardi means when they are in need. Jana means people. So Krishna protects people when they are in need. So in chapter 1, Arjuna asked Krishna a question. Oh Krishna, you are the protector of everyone, but now you are asking me to kill the people. You are the protector of the people, but now you are asking me to kill the people. How is this justified? This was the question in chapter 1. Now Krishna is refuting that argument here in this sloka 2.21, saying that how can anyone how can anyone who is in knowledge of the soul kill anyone or cause anyone to kill? How can anyone who is in knowledge kill? That is Arjuna. And how can anyone who is in knowledge cause anyone to kill? That is Krishna. So here, if Arjuna is thinking that Krishna is causing Arjuna to kill his relatives, that is what Krishna is telling, I am also in knowledge. Krishna is saying, I am also in knowledge of the soul. So how can I cause you to kill your relatives? Or Arjuna, you have the knowledge of the soul so far, because Krishna already gave preliminary knowledge of the soul in 2.13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Now Krishna is saying, you also have knowledge of the soul. How can you kill? How can you kill, or how can I cause you to kill? Okay. Now does that mean the material body or life in the material body has no value? When Krishna is saying, how can anybody kill the body? How can anybody kill, a Jivatma? Does that mean there is no value for the life in the material body? No, there is value, right? The material body is also important. Life in the material body is also important. Now, looking at this shloka or instruction from Krishna saying that how can anyone kill? Even though you are killing, you are actually not killing. Now, somebody should not take this instruction as a license to kill anyone. If a terrorist or some, gunman takes this instruction and say that, oh, Krishna said, even though you are killing, you are actually not killing. That's why I shot, on the innocent children in Dallas. We see that many times, right? So it should not be taken in that perspective. Okay, that's why Prabhupada explains in the purport, everything has a utility. Utility means a proper usage. Everything has a proper usage, and we need knowledge to use things properly. So, for example, knife. A knife can be used by a surgeon to treat a disease. The same knife can be used by a terrorist to stab somebody. Okay? So everything has a utility. But one who is in knowledge uses things with proper utility. Okay? So here Krishna is basically saying that violence is necessary. When needed, violence is necessary. The Vedas also say that, violence is necessary when needed. But before this Kurukshetra war began, the Pandavas tried so hard to avoid fighting. They only asked for 5 villages. For five Pandavas, they only asked for 5 villages. They are entitled to rule the entire kingdom, entire Bharatavarsha, but they have compromised. And they have asked only 5 villages because they are Kshatriyas. They cannot just sit idle. They have to rule the kingdom. So they asked for 5 villages to rule. Okay, and Duryodhana denied that. He said, forget about 5 villages. I will not even give a small piece of land to hold a small pin. And then the Pandavas sent Krishna as the peace messenger, Duta. That also did not work. So they tried so many different ways to avoid fighting. But when it was inevitable, then the war has begun. So Krishna says violence is necessary when it is needed. In fact, when it is necessary, if violence is not committed, then the person who is supposed to commit violence will incur sin. So our understanding is that we incur sin when we commit violence. But when violence is necessary and the person who is supposed to commit violence is not committing violence, then he will incur sinful reactions. So Arjuna, as a Kshatriya on the battlefield, if he does not fight, he will incur sinful reactions. That's why Krishna is saying to avoid sinful reactions for yourself, you kill. And not only for not only for Arjuna's sake. Prabhupada is writing in the purport, also for the sake of the relatives, you fight, you kill them. Because all the relatives on the opposite side, the Kauravas, they are standing there for adharma. They are standing there for adharma. And if you don't kill them, they are going to suffer from great sinful reactions in this lifetime and in the lifetimes in future. So to avoid that, you kill them. You kill them so that whatever adharmic activities they have done, that sinful reaction is gone. In the next life, they'll start from zero. So both for Arjuna's sake and for Kaurava's sake, Krishna is encouraging Arjuna to fight.
Violence, you're saying this good Kauravas and Pandavas, but in the current scenario, like Ukraine and Russia, they are also fighting. So in that, how we have to understand violence is for good purpose? Like in which scenarios we can like
Both are standing on the side of adharma. So that Ukraine-Russia war is not needed.
in Pakistan.
Yeah, it is adharmic. Yeah, whereas Kurukshetra war is dharmic. This was a war for protecting dharma. Whereas all other wars that we see in the material world, they are all adharmic. Both parties on both sides are adharmic. So that's not recommended. Yeah. So now, see in all these shlokas, the series of shlokas from 2.11 to 2.30, about 15 shlokas, Krishna keeps repeating one thing. What is that one thing that Krishna keeps repeating? Soul never dies. Very good. Soul is eternal. Okay? Soul is never born and soul never dies. Ajam. Okay? If you look at this verse, right? Veda vinashinam nityam yayenam ajam avyayam. Ajam means unborn. Avyayam, indestructible. Okay? Imperishable, indestructible or immutable. Now, the concept of eternality is so beautiful that it's very mind-boggling. If you understand the details of this eternality, it's very mind-boggling. We'll be amazed to see the details of the eternality. Okay. Actually, there is a shloka in the next section, 2.29 or 30, where Krishna says, Ascharyavat pashyati kashchidenam, Ascharyavat vadati tataiva chanya, Ascharyavat anya shrunoti, Shrutva pyenam vedana kaschit. Krishna says, some hear about the soul as amazing. Some see the soul as amazing. And some, even after hearing the soul and even after hearing about the soul, they do not know anything. They do not know anything very clearly. So basically in that shloka, Krishna says that the concept of soul and the characteristics and attributes of the soul are very amazing. Ascharyavat pashyati kashchidenam, Ascharyavat vadati tataiva chanya, Ascharyavat anya shrunoti, Shrutva pyenam vedana kaschit. So what are these amazing facts about soul, or what are these amazing facts about the eternality of the soul is, now Brahma is the highest living entity in this material world. Okay? Brahma lives in Satyaloka, not Satya Yuga. Satyaloka. Satyaloka is the higher planetary system. Within this material world, Satyaloka is the highest planetary system where Brahma lives. Okay? Swargaloka, and then above Sargaloka is Brahmaloka. Okay? So, if we understand Brahma's lifetime, then you can then you will be amazed, as mentioned in that Ascharyavat Pashyati Kaschidenam shloka by Krishna. You will be amazed how mind-boggling it is to understand the concept of eternality. Because with our senses or with our human capacity, we cannot understand or comprehend this eternality. Eternality basically means no beginning, no end. But there is much more to it. Okay. So let's try to understand what is the lifespan of Brahma. Now in Kali Yuga, what is the lifespan of Kali Yuga? 4,32,000. Okay. Now the previous Yuga, Dwapara Yuga. The age of Dwapara Yuga is 2 times the age of Kali Yuga. So 8,64,000. 8,64,000 is the age of Dwapara Yuga. And Treta Yuga is 3 times Kali Yuga. So that is how much?
It's 24 something.
125 something.
24, 3 times is 12.
3 times Kali Yuga.
Of Kali Yuga,
3 times of Kali Yuga.
3 times of Kali Yuga. 13,000.
13,000. About 13,000. Yeah. And then Satya Yuga, 4 times Kali Yuga. 16,000, 16 lakh something. Okay, 16 lakh something. So 16 lakh, 13 lakh, 8 lakh and 4 lakh. Okay, roughly. Now you add all these, then it will be 432 lakhs. Okay, 400 and no. 4 lakhs 32 is Kali Yuga. Yeah.
16, 30, 29, 38, 37, and then 41 lakhs.
41. Huh? 41 lakhs. Yeah.
41,000 lakhs.
No. 41 lakhs. 41 lakhs. Okay. I think it's about 42 lakhs. Okay. So 4 lakhs is Kali Yuga, but all the yugas, the 4 yugas combined together is 42 lakhs. Okay. So that is one cycle of yugas. One cycle of yugas is 42 lakhs. And Brahma's one day consists of 1,000 yugas. Brahma's one day, that is 12 hours. From morning till night is 1,000 yugas. So 42 lakhs multiplied by 1,000. Okay? You keep that number, okay, in your mind. You calculate and put that in your brain register. Okay? 42 lakhs times 1,000. Now Brahma has day and night also, right? The night also has 1,000 yugas. So 42 lakhs times 2 times 1,000. That is how much? 1 day. And Brahma lives for 100 years. And typical, like us, 365 days in a year. Okay? So 42 lakhs times 2 times 1,000 times 365 times 100. Huh? Times 100, right? No, not times 100. Times 365, that's all. Oh, no. That is 1 year. So 100 years times 100. Yeah, times 100. So that number will be some 311 trillion billion million years. Okay? 311 trillion something. Now we cannot even imagine how many zeros that will be. How many numbers after 3, we don't know. Okay? So such a gigantic number or such a humongous lifespan of Brahma is very minuscule when compared to the eternality. If you think of Brahma's lifespan itself is very mind-boggling and very gigantic. That is nothing compared to the lifespan of eternality. Okay? No, we cannot even comprehend that. Brahma's lifespan itself we cannot compare, we cannot comprehend. So this is mentioned in chapter 8 of Bhagavad Gita. Sahasra yuga paryantam ahar yad brahmano viduhu ratrim yuga sahasrantam teho ratra vidorjuna. So in that shloka, Krishna gives details of Brahma's lifespan. Sahasra yuga paryantam. Sahasra yuga means 1000 yugas is one day of Brahma. Sahasra yuga paryantam ahar yad brahmano viduhu ratrim yuga sahasrantam. Again, night, Ratri also has Sahasra Yuga, 1000 yugas. That is one day of Brahma. Okay? Sahasra Yuga Paryantam Aharyad Brahmano Viduhu Ratrim Yuga Sahasrantam Teho Ratra Vidorjuna. So it's very mind-boggling, for us to comprehend that. Now, what to speak of eternality? So that's why whatever we go through in this life, how insignificant it is. First of all, our life itself is very insignificant. Now, when compared to Brahma or when compared to eternal thing, how insignificant we are in the 70 years of life. How insignificant our life is. Now, within that lifetime, whatever bad happens, any problems or pain that we experience, how insignificant would that be?
Does Brahma also have pain and stress and distress?
Yeah. And he's born and he dies.
He also has family.
He also has family. He has family problems. He has family problems.
The concept of sun and the moon will be there here for Brahma, it will be there.
Huh?
Concept of sun, moon, day and light.
Yeah.
Day and night, how can Brahma look?
In Satyaloka? No, Satyaloka is within this universe. Within this universe. It's a higher planetary system. See, the universe has 3 planetary systems. Upper, middle and lower. We are in the middle planetary system. The Earth is in the middle planetary system. The higher planetary systems are Svargaloka, Satyaloka, all those lokas. Lower planetary systems, Atala, Sutala, Vitala, Patala, Rasatala, all those things. Where the demons live. So, Brahma lives within the universe. And all the planets, the sun and moon, they are within the universe. Yeah. So this concept Krishna is repeating, eternal, the concept of eternality is repeating in all these shlokas. And he's encouraging Arjuna to kill. Okay, next shloka, 2.22. Vasamsi jitani yata vihaya navani gruhnati naroparani tata sharirani vihaya jivnani anyani samyati navani dehi. Vasamsi, garments. Jirnani, old and worn out. Yata, just as. Vihaya, giving up. Navani, new garments. Grihnanti, does accept. Nara, a man. Aparani, others. Tata, in the same way. Sharirani, bodies. Vihaya, giving up. Jirnani, old and useless. Anyani, different. Samyati, verily accepts. Navani, new sets. Dehi, the embodied. Translation. As a person puts on new garments, giving up old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones. Purport. Okay. Anybody would like to read the purport?
the body by the atomic individual soul is
Take
an
this mic.
accepted fact. Change of the body by the atomic individual soul is an accepted fact. Even the modern scientists who do not believe in the existence of the soul, but at the same time cannot explain the source of energy from the heart, have to accept continuous changes of body which appear from the childhood to boyhood, and from boyhood to youth, and again from youth to old age. From old age, the change is transferred to another body. This has already been explained in a previous verse, 2.13. Transference of the atomic individual soul to another body is made possible by the grace of the supersoul. The supersoul fulfills the desire of the atomic soul as one friend fulfills the desire of another. The Vedas, like the Mundaka Upanishad, as well as the Shvetashvatara Upanishad, compare the soul and the supersoul to two friendly birds sitting on the same tree. One of the birds, the individual atomic soul, is eating the fruit of the tree, and the other bird, Krishna, is simply watching his friend. Of these two birds, although they are the same in quality, one is captivated by the fruits of the material tree, while the other is simply witnessing the activities of his friend. Krishna is the witnessing bird, and Arjuna is the eating bird. Although they are friends, one is still the master and the other is the servant. Forgetfulness of this relationship by the atomic soul is the cause of one's changing his position from one tree to another, or from one body to another. The Jiva soul is struggling very hard on the tree of the material body, but as soon as he agrees to accept the other bird as a supreme spiritual master, as Arjuna agreed to do by voluntary surrender unto Krishna for instruction, the subordinate bird immediately becomes free from all lamentations. Both the Mundaka Upanishad 3.1.2 and Shvetashvatara Upanishad 4.7 confirms this. Samani vrikshe purusho nimagno nishaya shochati muhyamanaha justam yada pashyatanyamisham asya mahimanam iti vida shokaha. Although the two birds are in the same tree, the eating bird is fully engrossed with anxiety and moroseness as the enjoyer of the fruits of the tree. But if in some way or another he turns his face to his friend the Lord and knows his glories, at once the suffering bird becomes free from all anxieties. Arjuna has now turned his face towards his eternal friend Krishna and is understanding the Bhagavad Gita from him. And thus, hearing from Krishna, he can understand the supreme glories of the Lord and be free from lamentation. Arjuna is advised herewith by the Lord not to lament for the bodily change of his old grandfather and his teacher. He should rather be happy to kill their bodies in the righteous fight, so that they may be cleansed at once of all reactions from various bodily activities. One who lays down his life on the sacrificial altar or in the proper battlefield is at once cleansed of bodily reactions and promoted to a higher status of life. So there was no cause for Arjuna's lamentation.
So here in this shloka, Krishna is giving an analogy of clothes and saying that soul changing bodies is just like a body changing clothes in this lifetime. Now, when we give up old and useless, the torn garments and put on new ones, do we cry? Huh? We are happy, right? We are happy. We want to buy more and more new clothes. In fact, every day, new set of clothes. Huh? So when we go to India, we bring a suitcase full of new clothes. So we are happy to assume the new clothes. Okay. So just like that, the soul changing from one body to another body is just like the body giving up the old and useless clothes and wearing new ones. Even though the body gives up the old clothes and puts on new garments, the person does not change. Okay? See, when you are at work, you may be in formal clothes. When you are at home, you are in informal clothes. When you come to temple like this, you are in traditional clothes. So depending on the situation, you put on different style of garments. But the person inside you, the person who is wearing these different garments, is still the same. The person does not change. The clothes are changing, but the person does not change. Similarly, even though the soul transmigrates from one body to another body at the time of death, and the soul keeps on transmigrating, right? For several millions of lifetimes, the soul keeps on transmigrating from one body to another body until the soul gets liberation. But the soul does not change. Soul is immutable. That's the characteristic, okay? Avyayam.
When person get liberation, what happens to the soul?
So when person gets liberation, the soul goes to spiritual world. The soul goes to spiritual world, and the soul gets a spiritual body. Just like how we have material body here. Hey kids, can you go down and play? Or go to no, there is a construction going on, right? Or maybe you can go in this room and play. Okay, go there. You can go there. Go there. Yeah, either you tell shloka or you keep quiet. Quiet, huh? Okay, then sit quiet. Okay, so just like how, we are not affected by the changing of the clothes, the soul is also not affected, not lamenting by the change of the bodies. Okay, that's what Prabhupada writes in the purport, when Arjuna kills the Kauravas, that should not be a reason for any lamentation, because they will get fresh bodies, they'll get new bodies. Bhishma, Drona, and all the Kauravas, they'll get new bodies, new and better bodies. Okay, based on their karma, they'll get better bodies, and maybe in a better planet also, in the heavenly planets. Okay, now Arjuna is thinking that if he kills the Kauravas, they'll be bereft of any enjoyment.
But usually, people says in the war, if anybody dies, they will get liberation.
Not everybody.
Not everybody.
If somebody performs all sinful activities during lifetime, they will not get liberation. Yeah. So liberation happens, it can happen in one lifetime. For devotees like us, it can happen in one lifetime. If we are sincere, practice bhakti sincerely, it can happen in this lifetime itself. Or few lifetimes. If we are not so sincere in one lifetime, it can take few lifetimes, maybe 5 or 10 or 100 lifetimes, and then eventually we'll get liberation. But for a person who leads an animalistic life, then liberation is so far, it's a far stretched thing for them. Yeah.
When we born, the date of the when we die also will come along with us, right? And we born,
Mm-hmm.
then the date of the death also will be along with that, right?
Yes.
So these karmas are like all we are doing, and now we are sitting here, all these previous karmas.
It's yes and no. Whatever you are doing in this lifetime is based on the vasanas and desires that you have accumulated in the previous lifetimes. How we got, okay, this is a simple example I'll explain you. It's a very interesting thing to know how a person gets a male body and a female body. Okay? All the men, in this material world now, the reason why they got male body is they were females in the previous lifetimes, and they were attracted to male bodies. That's why they got male body in this lifetime, and the vice versa. The females who are now females in this lifetime, they were male in the previous lifetime. They were attracted to female bodies. That's why they got a female body now. Yeah. So whatever we are doing in this lifetime is based on the vasanas and desires that we have accumulated in the previous lifetime and many more previous lifetimes. Not just one previous, right? Millions of previous lifetimes. We have accumulated so many desires, so many vasanas. So the God gives some instrument to fulfill some desires, some vasanas in this lifetime. And there are many more to be fulfilled. That's why we have to take so many births in the future. So what were we discussing?
There is no need to lament.
There's no need to lament when the soul changes bodies. Okay? Because at the time of death, the soul transmigrates to new body, and better enjoyment and better planet actually. Okay? So if Bhishma and Drona, they are pious people, right? They are pious people. At the time of death, their soul can transmigrate and get a new body in heavenly planets, where the enjoyment is unlimited. So what is Arjuna's argument here? Arjuna is saying that if I kill Kauravas, if I kill Drona and Bhishma, they will be bereft of enjoyment. But Krishna is saying they will get unlimited enjoyment, better enjoyment than they are getting now. So go and kill. Okay? So when you look at some people who are on the deathbed, right, who are going through some diseases and suffering so much, everybody thinks that, including the patient and all the relatives, everybody thinks that it will be better if that person dies very soon. Because it will be very painful for the person to go through that pain, and it will be very painful for everyone around to see that pain. In fact, the person who is seeing the patient going through the pain is more difficult than the person who is going through the pain. So at that time, everybody thinks that, okay, better this person, should leave the life very soon. Then it will be peaceful. Okay. Then in the next life, they'll get a better body and fresh body, no suffering. So that's what Krishna is saying in this shloka. Okay. And in the very first paragraph, Prabhupada explains in the purport, when the soul transmigrates from one body to another body, the super soul also accompanies and helps the soul fulfill the desires. Okay. Now, we have been talking about soul in the last few verses, how soul is situated in the heart region and how the soul's energy is pervaded throughout the body. But how to, we cannot see the soul, but what is the proof of the existence of the soul? What is the proof of the existence of the soul? Consciousness, okay? So how can we prove the existence of the soul?
Our body is functioning night also. When we are sleeping also it is functioning.
When we are sleeping also it is functioning, okay? What else? DYS batch. We discussed this in DYS.
Yeah, when the body
Uh-huh.
the body remains, but you cannot talk about God.
Body remains?
So when the body dies, right?
Yeah.
Even the body still exists. Body is there, but you cannot do anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. What else? Remember there was a topic, who am I? Who is God? Who am I? Search for happiness. Why good things happen to bad people? Why bad things happen to good people?
Purpose of life.
Huh?
Purpose of life.
Purpose of life. What is karma? We discussed all these things during DYS, Discover Yourself course. Okay? Mahi, remember anything from your notes? Your book is almost getting, exhausted. You should buy a new book. What is that, Basu?
Jyoti has digital notes.
Digital notes. Aparna, you remember anything?
I think when the dead body is there, it doesn't move, talk, and then no feeling. When the soul's not there, you don't feel.
Yeah.
And the memory is also not there.
Okay.
Not only after that, even some people have eyes but they can't see. But they have some power is there, that's why we are able to see. Even some people have eyes but they are not able to see. Not only their body.
Yeah.
Even some people will have eyes like that, but they are not able to see. That means some eyes will have some extra power to see. We call that power maybe.
No. First of all, we cannot see. Even with our eyes, we cannot see the soul. Okay? We can only understand. We can realize. Okay? We can have a realization of the soul. Atma Sakshatkar antar kada. Ante realization of the soul. But we cannot see it. Okay?
So the people who will get after after they will only get that.
Yeah, but for others who are not so realized, who are not so elevated, how can we explain to common men about the proof of the existence of the soul?
Like if the feelings come, right? Like emotion, like a dead body will not feel anything.
Yeah.
Like a live body are feeling an emotion. Somebody somewhere it is given to the soul.
Yeah. Very good. That's also a good point. So remember we discussed 4 or 5 things during DYS, and for those who have not attended, like Pavan, Arshani, Annapurna, Praveen, Sarita, right? Sarita, Kunal also did not attend DYS. Abhishek, did you attend DYS?
I know, I joined after that.
After that, okay. Yeah. It happened last year, October. 22 October. Yeah. 22. 21 was COVID only, right? Yeah. 22 October, yeah. So, these are the different ways how we can prove the existence of the soul. The first thing is common sense. Okay? Common sense. Common sense is very uncommon, right? Common sense is very uncommon. Intuition. Oh, she found the notes. She pulled up the notes. Basu is correct. Basu is right. She has digital notes. Okay. Common sense, intuition, symptoms. What else? Past life memories.
No desires, emotions.
No desires, no soul. No emotions, no soul. Yeah. Okay. So let's discuss.
Past life memories, we spoke about one story in Bengal already.
Yeah. Okay. So let's discuss. So first thing is common sense. Okay. So our understanding, without the knowledge of the soul, our understanding is that we are the body, right? Before reading Bhagavad Gita, our understanding is that we are this body, we are the material body. Now, if we are the body, and a person, when a person dies, that body is still, sitting there, but people are lamenting. Why? Why the people are lamenting? If that person is body and not anything else, what is the need for lamentation?
Because it doesn't move, it doesn't have any life.
Yeah, that means there is something beyond body. So body itself is not the person. So there is something more than body. Okay? As I said, the body does not move, no feelings, no reaction, nothing. That means there is more than body. It's not just because scientists, they deny the existence of the soul. They deny the existence of the mind, they deny the existence of the soul because they cannot see it. Anything that they cannot see, they deny the existence of it. Okay? For science and maths, everything has to be measured, quantified, and provable. Then only they'll acknowledge. Otherwise, they'll just deny. Okay? So, according to scientists, we are just body. We are just a lump of chemicals. Okay? So, somebody did an anatomy of the chemical composition of the body, and then they arrived at a value.
20 rupees.
Dollar. $20.
$20.
$20.
$20 rupees.
So,
Our body worth is $20.
if we put a dollar value to all the chemicals in our body, it is only $20. That means this body is worth of $20. Okay? Somebody can use this argument at the time of Pelli Choopulu. If somebody asks some crores of dowry, you can say this body is only worth of $20. Why do you
And
need?
we can say also, body is not important.
Yeah. Why do you need crores of dowry?
Ambani body is
$20. Everybody. Not only Ambani, everybody. Everybody. Even Brahma's body is also $20. Indra, Varuna, Vayu, Chandra.
Expensive, right?
Huh?
Our organs are expensive, right?
Organs are
That's inflation. Very good.
In the black market.
Black market, that's inflation. Otherwise, it is just $20. So there was an international conference a long time ago, and all the atheist scientists, they were talking about so many things, and they were saying that the body is nothing but a lump of chemicals. The life comes from body. Life comes from matter. Okay, those were their arguments. Then there happened to be a devotee who has the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Then he asked those scientists, okay, you are saying that life comes from matter, the body is nothing but a lump of chemicals. So I'll give you all the chemicals. You give me the list of chemicals that comprise the material body, and I will supply all the chemicals to you, and you create new life. Can you do that? You create a new body. Can you do that? No, scientists cannot do that. Scientists are saying that the body is just a lump of chemicals. Now they should be able to reproduce it. Using the chemicals, they should be able to reproduce. So when a dead body is sitting there, people say, what do people say? Will people say the body is dead? The people will not say body is dead. People will say, yeah, Ramarao has dead. Ramarao has dead. That means they are referring to the soul, the Atma, not the body. So that is common sense. Another way of using common sense to not common sense, intuition, right? So intuition. Second method of proving soul is intuition. Okay, intuition is so when we refer to the parts of our body, we say my hand, my head, my leg, my nose, my eyes, and so on, right? We do not say eye leg, eye hand, eye nose. We do not say that. We say my. That means everything belongs to this body. The eye, nose, hand, ear, hand, leg, ear, everything belongs to body. That's why we don't say eye, leg. That means the body is not leg, or leg is not body. Leg belongs to body. Okay. Similarly, the soul. So all the parts of the body, we refer to them using my this part, my that part, and so on. Okay. And the body also, we say my body, right? We say my body. We say my body. So who is that my there? That is soul. That means when we say my body, that means there is somebody above the body. There is somebody who is possessing the body. There is somebody who is possessing the body. That is soul. We don't say I body, right? We don't say I body. We say my body. Just like how we say my ear, my nose. Similarly, we say my body. We don't say I body. Okay? That means there is something beyond body who is possessing the body. Okay, that is intuition. Okay? Intuition is basically self-learning, right? You see something and you understand it. Okay? It doesn't require great logic to understand things. It's intuitive, self-intuitive, self-learning, self-explanatory kind of thing. Okay? So common sense, intuition, these are the two methods. Third method is scientists have done some experiments to prove the existence of the soul. One such experiment is past life memories. Okay, so they have conducted research and came up with about 2,000 cases in the entire world. 2,000 cases where some people were able to recollect things from past life. They were able to recollect things from past life. So there was an incident in India, in Bengal. A 2.5-year-old girl. So her father, he works for railway employee, and the baby, the 2.5-year-old girl, from the age of 2.5, she started remembering and recollecting all the things from her past life. And she used to hold a small teddy bear, and she started calling the teddy bear as Meenu, and she started treating that soft toy as a baby, real baby. And then one day she tells her father, can you take me to so and so village? Now, till that time, the father never heard of that village. That village is 110 miles from their home. He never heard of that village. And when the girl asked, can you take me to that village? Then the father started researching where is that village and so on. And it happened to be that it's 110 miles far from their home. And they take a train and then go to that village. And then this girl, from the railway station, this girl, she leads the father, she shows the father path to go to the home. Her previous life, home in her previous life. And then when they go to the home in her previous life, there are 10-20 male people sitting in the home, and this girl immediately points to one man and says that he is my husband in the past life. A 2.5-year-old girl tells that he is my husband in the past life. And she tells mind-boggling, intricate details, all the details of the past life. It proves beyond any doubt that he is her husband. Even her husband agrees and everybody agrees, because she gave all the intricate details which prove beyond any doubt that he is her husband. Okay? Now, how she was able to do this? Only because of the impressions carried by the soul from past life to present life. Okay? So that is a proof of existence of the soul.
Why she didn't forget all this when soul takes another body? She forget all as we
Yeah.
why? I mean, what is the
So it's a curse. It's a curse to remember things from past life. Yeah. Now, hearing this story, we may think that, okay, so maybe I was the son of Ambani in previous life, Mukesh Ambani's son in previous life. I was supposed to go to Ambani's home and get their property. We might get ideas like that, right? But it is very painful. It is a curse to remember previous life. See, this life itself is miserable. Now, if you remember things from past life also, you cannot leave this life at all. Life will be even more miserable. Okay? That's why God gives forgetfulness. In chapter 15 of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto matta smrutirjnanam apohanam cha vedaischa sarvairahameva vedyo vedanta kritveda videva chaham. Krishna says, from me comes remembrance and forgetfulness. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto matta smritir Jnanam apohanam cha. Smriti is remembrance. Apohanam is forgetfulness. So Krishna gives that forgetfulness so that we don't remember anything from the past life. Otherwise, it will be very painful. Okay, we cannot live this life. That's why there are only 2000 cases in the entire world who remembered past life. Okay. So that is the third method of proving the existence of the soul. So first one is common sense. Second one is intuition. Third one is past life memories. Fourth one is near death experiences. Near death experiences or out of body experiences. NDE or OBE. Okay? Near death or out of body experiences. So this is a phenomenon where a person who is supposed to be dead, he goes to a different place. The astral body travels to a different place and comes back after a few minutes. So this person who is supposed to be dead comes back alive. So let's say a person is dead in the surgery room, the operation theater. The surgeon, nurses, everyone were there and they were operating the body. And the operation failed and the patient dead. But with this astral body thing, the patient can travel out of this body to a different realm, to a different, to a different place. Astral body can travel and see what's happening there and then come back alive. So there were few cases where such things happened, and then the person, after traveling with the astral body and seeing all the experiences, and he started narrating everything to the surgeon and nurses. All the things, like how the surgery happened, how he was dead, and what he has seen during that astral travel journey. They explained everything. Okay? So this is near-death experience. They're almost dead, but not dead. They're clinically dead. Okay? They're clinically dead, but the astral body travels and comes back alive. Okay? So that is again proof of existence of the soul. Okay? That's the fourth one. Fifth one is you hear from the scriptures about the proof of the existence of the soul. Shabda Praman. You hear from the scriptures. As Krishna is saying in all these slokas in Bhagavad Gita. Okay? Proof of existence of the soul. Okay, now we'll discuss one last shloka and then we'll stop. 2.23. Nainam chindanti shastrani Nainam dahati pavakaha Nachainam kledayantyapo Nashoshayati marutaha. No, never. Enam, this soul, chindanti, can cut to pieces. Shastrani, weapons. Na, never. Enam, this soul, dahati, burns. Pavaka, fire. Na, never. Cha, also. Enam, this soul. Kledayanti, moistens. Apa, water. Na, never. Shoshayati, dries. Maruta, wind. The soul can never be cut to pieces by any weapon, nor burned by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. All kinds of weapons, swords, flames, weapons, rain weapons, tornado weapons, etc., are unable to kill the spirit soul. It appears that there were many kinds of weapons made of earth, water, fire, air, ether, in addition to the modern weapons of fire. Even the nuclear weapons of the modern age are classified as fire weapons. But formerly, there were other weapons made of all different types of material elements. Fire weapons were counteracted by water weapons, which are now unknown to modern science. Nor do modern scientists have knowledge of tornado weapons. Nonetheless, the soul can never be cut into pieces nor annihilated by any number of weapons, regardless of scientific devices.
తారక ప్రభు కంటే ఇచ్చేస్తారా
ఇవాళ ఓకే
మిమ్మల్ని తారక ప్రభు కాల్
చేయాలి ఓకే
మీ ప్లేట్ కింద పక్కన
ఓకే The Mayavadis cannot explain how the individual soul came into existence simply by ignorance and consequently became covered by the illusory energy. Nor was it ever possible to cut the individual souls from the original Supreme Soul. Doorway. Rather, the individual souls are eternally separated parts of the Supreme Soul because they are atomic individual souls eternally, Sanatana. They are prone to be covered by the illusory energy and thus they become separated from the association of the Supreme Lord, just as the sparks of a fire, although one in quality with the fire, are prone to be extinguished when out of the fire. In the Varaha Purana, the living entities are described as separate parts and parcels of the Supreme. They are eternally so according to Bhagavad Gita also. So even after being liberated from illusion, the living entity remains a separate identity, as is evident from the teachings of the Lord to Arjuna. Arjuna became liberated by the knowledge received from Krishna, but he never became one with Krishna. Okay, so in this shloka, Krishna is giving further attributes of the soul. And if you observe, the style in which Krishna is explaining about the attributes of the soul is negation. He's saying, Nainam chindanti, nainam dahati, nachainam, nashoshayati, natvevaham jatunasam, in the previous shloka. Najayate briyate va kadachin. So in all these shlokas, Krishna is using na. So in Sanskrit it is called naiti. Naiti means negation basically. Naiti means not, negation. Okay. So why Krishna is using this negation method to explain the attributes of the soul is, now when we are in the material body, anything that we can comprehend or anything that we want to understand is only within the purview of our material senses. Whatever we can do with the material senses, that is only we can understand. We cannot understand anything beyond that. So if you want to understand anything, even in the spiritual world also, we try to apply the knowledge of material things and understand the spiritual objects. So in the material things, what we do, any object you see, either it can be cut into pieces, it can be burnt with fire, it can be moistened with water, it can be dried with wind, all these things. That's why Krishna or somebody can kill some person, somebody can be born. That's why Krishna is using negation, saying that whatever material purview that you are using, you cannot understand with that material purview. It is negation, okay? Nainam chindanti. Soul cannot be cut into pieces with any weapon. Shastrani is weapons. Nainam dahati pavakaha. Soul cannot be burned with fire. Nachainam kledayantyapo. Soul cannot be moistened with water. Nashoshayati marutaha. Soul cannot be dried with wind. Okay? So in the purport, Prabhupada is explaining that even the sophisticated weapons, like nuclear weapon is the most sophisticated weapon, right? Which is a fire weapon. So even the most sophisticated weapon cannot kill the soul. Cannot kill the soul. There is death to the body, but there is never death to the soul. But it is so unfortunate that scientists believe the opposite thing. They believe that death is optional. Scientists, they believe that death is optional. That means you can die if you want, you cannot die if you don't want. You don't have to die if you don't want. So, how crazy is that?
Then nobody wants to die.
Yeah. So that's why the richest people in the world, like Larry Ellison, Walt Disney, what they have done? They ask the scientists to preserve their bodies after death because they believe that one fine day scientists will come up with a solution to death, and at that time death is optional. Death will be optional. So person will die, but scientists, because of the solution that scientists are going to find out in future, okay, the so-called scientists are going to find out in future, with that solution a dead person can come back alive. That's why Walt Disney has asked his family members to preserve his body in containers called cryonics. Okay, cryonic looks like, see, many of you have gone to Tirupati, right? In Tirupati, there is a hundi, right? There's a steel hundi. So it looks like that. Okay, it's a steel container. The body is preserved under extreme cold temperatures. Extreme cold temperatures and lot of chemicals. The body is preserved. And it costs so much of money to preserve for one day. Now Walt Disney has asked to preserve his body eternally until the scientists come up with a solution to death, so that he can come back alive and enjoy his kingdom. So the family members started preserving his body for some years, and then they thought, okay, it's so expensive, we cannot maintain like this. And then they also became greedy. Instead of maintaining his body, let's take his money and and then they pull the plug. They pull the plug of the container, and Walt Disney died forever. So now Larry Ellison, who is still alive, who is a CEO of Oracle or the chairman of Oracle, he also is thinking of preserving his body after death. There are so many other rich people like this, okay? Because they have accumulated so much of wealth, unlimited amount of wealth, that they cannot enjoy in one lifetime. That's why they want to come back after this life and enjoy forever. They don't want to lose their wealth. They want to enjoy forever. Okay? But it's not possible.
They could have donated the money and the temple could have told them easy way to come back.
Yeah, if they donate all their wealth, that is the easiest method for liberation and to live eternally.
No, even they want to come back.
Yeah.
They can get, like based on this exam, they can get a body, right?
Yeah, exactly. They can get a better body.
Exactly. Why come back to the old useless body?
They can either come back to a better life, or they can go to a spiritual world. With all the charity things that they do, they can go to the spiritual world. Okay? They don't believe in God. Yeah, they are atheistic scientists. Yeah. All the richest people. See, when a person becomes richer and richer and more richer, it is hard to believe in God.
False ego growth, right?
Yeah, the false ego increases, and they think that they are the controller. They have all the wealth and power in this world. They can control and they can do anything. They start believing themselves as God. Okay, they lose faith on God and they start believing themselves as God. Okay, that's why it is good not to earn so much money, so that you don't get puffed up and become so proud. So here Krishna is saying, the soul cannot be cut into pieces, cannot be burned by fire, cannot be moistened by water. So basically Krishna is presenting the same concept that the soul is eternal in different angles. Okay? If Krishna simply tells that we are not this body, we are the soul, we will not understand. But the same point, if Krishna presents in different angles, then it gets registered in our brain, at least theoretically. Okay? After we understand theoretically that we are not the body, we are the soul, then the next step is to get the realization of the soul. Okay? So it's 2:17. I think we covered pretty good today. We'll stop here. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you everyone for coming all the way from Bothell, Lake Stevens, Marysville, wherever you are, Redmond, Bellevue. So hopefully next week also we'll have the session here. It's good to have session here in the temple premises. Okay, and I made this announcement earlier, but whoever have joined late and who have not heard this announcement, May 10th, 11th and 12th, they are doing the Prana Pratishtha of Lord Venkateshwara deities here in the other hall. Okay, so what you see here, these are Utsava Murtis, these are temporary. These Murtis also will be moved to that place, but there, actually after this session, you can go there, you can see the deities are there now. They're all covered. So on 10th, 11th and 12th, they are doing Prana Pratishtha ceremony, and then beautiful Alankarana and everything there, Abhishekam, all the Nitya Pujas, everything. Okay, so the schedule will be published later in the group, but 10th, 11th, 12th, you can come. Okay, thank you everyone for joining. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. You all can go down and have lunch. Not just the apple. Tilak, when you go down, there's a big hall, right?
Yeah, right.
At the back of the hall, there's a table.
Okay.
So you'll see some dry fruits, nuts. And there is a tilak in a bag.
Bad. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
So you can take that to kitchen or somewhere, wherever you see water, you can put tilak.
Okay. Fine.
Yeah. What's your name?
Ankit Shah.
Ankit Shah. Okay. Hare Krishna. Where do you live?
In West Bengal. I'm from West Bengal. Currently, I am living at UW main campus, University of Washington.
Oh, you're doing masters here?
Yeah, master's.
Oh, okay. You came here recently?
I came here September 2023.
23.
So for traveling to having the darshan of the deities, I have to go to Samaish in ISKCON with
Samamish, yeah.
yeah. So that is really too far.
Yeah.
So now it's very convenient for me to be have there.
Yes.
In the
Very good, very good.
yeah.
Keep coming here.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Thank you.